Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Lady Vols have 2 home games this week, Thursday against UConn, Sunday against Kentucky. And Coach Harper has joined us to take questions from the media. If you would, use the hand raise feature, and we'll call on you for those questions. First question, please. We'll take one from Teresa Walker.
Kellie, good afternoon. A year ago when you all played against Connecticut, had a lead at halftime, and then they took over coming out of half. What's the difference now for your team, maybe being able to better handle a game against a third-ranked UConn?
Yeah, I think we're a better basketball team overall. I think we have grown. Everybody's a year older, a little bit more mature. I think we've had some pretty good games this year we've been excited about. So, I'm hoping that the experience that we've had in the last year will help us.
Gino said yesterday that right now this isn't really a rivalry, that he doesn't sense much interest or outside interest in it the way obviously it used to once upon a time. What has to happen to make it a rivalry again? And is it pretty much all on the Lady Vols side to win games and get it back to that level that it used to be?
I think, obviously I can't speak to his opinion, but we're really excited about Thursday and, really looking forward to the game. I think a lot of people are. I think people are looking at this as a big game and should be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people worked hard to make this a big game for women's basketball nationwide. And I think it's good to have those games in our sport. I think it's really good. People tune in and people watch and, hopefully they'll do so on Thursday.
Vince.
Kellie, do you have interest in continuing to play UConn even beyond this year and that home and home from last year and this year?
Oh, yeah, I think we definitely have interest there. I think we'd have to talk through, logistics and what that would look like. But, we're definitely willing to have those conversations.
And what are the things that you see in this UConn team that might be different, if at all, from past UConn teams, even the one you saw last year?
Well, I think they're so similar and they're just so sharp and fundamentally sound on both ends of the court at every position. And to me, that when you see their team play, they're identified by those characteristics. That hasn't changed.
Maria.
Coach, what are some of your memories of the Tennessee Connecticut series from playing in it?
I think for me, some of the biggest memories are just the fans and how passionate both sides are about this game and how much they enjoyed not liking the other team. They love that part. And, I think both sides, could really have a lot of passion and a lot of emotion in that game. So I remember that. And then obviously just some specifics, just some talented players on both ends, some fantastic games, big plays made. But there were some good ones.
Doug Feinberg.
I'm curious if you could just talk a little bit about the bigger picture of the We Back Pat and the movement and how sort of this is the crowning game of the whole week and just what it means to be part of it again, obviously with Tennessee and playing the old rival in UConn.
Well, I think, this is a really important week for women's basketball and for us to remember Pat's legacy and to honor her legacy and obviously continue to raise awareness for the foundation. And, it's just to have this game for nationwide viewership really enhances that. People are going to tune in and hopefully the foundation can be benefited by that. She meant so much to women's basketball, period. And across the nation, even beyond women's basketball, she meant so much to so many people. And it is really important, in my opinion, that we continue to keep her legacy alive and educate. You know, we're about to get to a point where we've got to educate young people on the history of our game. As one of her former players, she did that so well for us, and we want to make sure we do that well for the next generation.
Michelle?
Yeah, Coach, I guess that sort of leads into what I wanted to ask you, which is, I know it's when you're dealing with young people, you don't want to get too much away from just a game plan, but how much do you talk to your kids about the rivalry? Because I agree with you and I disagree with Gino. I think it's still a big deal, and I think everybody who watches women's basketball thinks it's a big deal. Do you talk to them about that, or is that maybe too much, information? Do you let them sort of figure that out on their own?
Well, there's so much going on around the game that it's hard for them to get away from it. They see it, they hear it. There's a lot of talk about it. Young people are on social media. There'll be stuff on there. So they feel it. And I think they're pretty educated. We will talk about it a little bit, just to make sure that their education is actually accurate. I just think that still so many people tune in, and it was a big deal, and it really was great for women's basketball. It really was. And, so I think that's, people are going to tune in, and that's good for our sport.
And when it comes to the series, is that something where, we asked Gino this the other day and he said he hasn't thought about it yet, but is that something where you and him talk about that in terms of continuing it? Is that sort of a coach to coach conversation?
I'll be honest with you, I'll have to answer very similar to him. I haven't thought about it either. We've got so much going on this year that somebody asked me about scheduling next year, and I told them they were crazy right now. We're trying to schedule for next week. So, we've got a lot going on, but there'll be something that hopefully we can figure out how to go about those, if those are conversations. We get administration, coaches involved. I think those will definitely happen. We'll see. We'll see if the series continues.
Thank you.
Maria?
Coach, speaking of scheduling, obviously you just had the change today that you'll now be playing Kentucky on Sunday because Vanderbilt has ended their season. You mentioned flexibility. Is that just part of it? I mean, you just got to be ready to, like you said, the schedule just changed this week. Is that just part of this season? It
is. It really is, Maria. One thing that we had talked about, our team wants to play. They want to play games, and I just made sure our staff is ready to be able to turn a scouting report around quickly if need be. I think people are paying attention to their teams a little bit sooner than maybe they normally would in a normal year. But our staff will have our players prepared, and they'll be excited about playing whoever our next opponent is.
Ben?
Coach, I don't know how much you've gotten into UConn with the players, given that the game is Thursday night, but after watching them and scouting them, what areas will you emphasize with your team?
Well, I think we have not yet gotten in too much detail with our team, but I think, the first thing, guarding the entire court with them, their spacing is terrific. And they're fundamentally sound, so you've got to be able to guard all people on the court at all times. Offensively, for us, taking care of the basketball, making sure we get good looks, I think it's going to be really important. For us, we're just going out to be the best team we can be and be as prepared as we can be to walk out there, and we're excited about competing.
Vince?
Kellie, what are some areas you think you've made the most progress on the court with your team this year?
I think for us, there is a greater understanding of what we're trying to do. Big picture. we have a better feel for each other and the goal and my play call or what our defensive goal is. I just think our players are able to play through more things this year because they just have better knowledge and better experience. I think that's been a big jump for us. Their focus has been better, and I tell you, we've shown some competitive moments that I've been really proud of as well.
Just a quick follow-up. I asked Rick this yesterday. Players overthinking on the court. How much do you find that at times that, players might want to do the right thing or really try to be unselfish or whatever, that maybe their mind ties their feet? Is that still something you battle with the team?
Yeah, I think we battle that some. I do think we're better in that area this year than we were last year. I think we play through a lot more, a little bit easier this year. I think sometimes you just have players, they're just pleasers. They want to do the right thing. And so they start overthinking things and it slows them down and they're not able to play freely. And when you can get players who are thinking and playing freely, that's what you want. You turn them loose and you let them go and let them make plays.
Maria?
Coach, you mentioned the game atmosphere of Tennessee, Connecticut, and obviously Tennessee will not get to host a game atmosphere for that because of COVID-19. Is that one reason to keep the door open to continuing this series so that Tennessee fans and you and the team can experience what it was like to play in one of those games in that atmosphere?
Well, it's been such a unique year. I don't know, how many things we're going to be able to make up from this year. That's going to be a big disappointment. It's like I said, it's such a big game. So many people are looking for it. We would have an incredible crowd here. They'd be loud, and we're just not going to be able to do that. I do hate that, but if we hopefully can get past COVID and maybe we can extend this, maybe we can have them back down here and have the environment that both teams deserve.
Quick follow-up about the game and point guard play. I know you're not on social media, but I pretty much have it microchipped into my skin at this point. I'm on all of it. I saw some photos of you and Jordan Horston pregame. You had she was stretching, you had your arm around her, y'all were laughing. You know how important it is for the point guard to have a relationship with the head coach. Just how in year 2 is your relationship evolving with Jordan Horston? Well,
it's really good. That was actually halftime, Maria. They got some shots. That was us at halftime, ironically, discussing the game and actually a practice, to be honest with you. So that's why I'm laughing. I think Jordan has really stepped her game up. I mean, she has really taken a big growth from last year to this year, and I'm so excited for her. And I think one thing that she does well that I really enjoy is she communicates well. She'll be on the court. She'll come over and ask me, what am I seeing? And I enjoy that communication. And I think you have to have that. She's calling a lot of shots out there when she's on the court, and she needs to know how I'm thinking and what I'm thinking. And we're in practice. We've been in practice a few times recently. In the middle of a drill, she is saying what we say. She is repeating the language that we have. It's a simple drill, and she's saying, hey, y'all, grab the ball with 2 hands. Very simple drill, but now we're starting to hear our coaching points come out of the players' mouths, and that's when you know you've taken a big step forward, when we're all trying to do the little things together.
Teresa?
You mentioned that the players are kind of like pleasers. How much of letting them play through stuff was the experience against Georgia last week, and how did you like the response against Alabama, a game that they had the lead and they kept on, they held it that game?
Yeah, I am a coach that I like our players to play through as much as possible. That especially that third quarter, it was broken up quite a bit. It felt a little choppy, so we couldn't really get a flow. I will say this: our team responded beautifully after the game. A really nice bounce back win at Alabama, an Alabama team that's been playing really well. So I thought our team's focus was really good. And, you have a lead at halftime, you come out against Alabama and it's the same. And our players had a different mentality. They had a different mindset and were able to close that game very differently. So proud of our team's response after the Georgia game.
Maria?
One last thing for me. You've been hopscotching with this schedule. You're at home, you're away. You're at home, you're away. That was set up again with going to Nashville, but now you've got 4 straight home games, assuming they all get played. Is that kind of nice to have a stretch at home?
Yes, I think so. I think it's anytime you can stay home and play, I think it's good. When you're on the road, you have a lot of control over your players. You know where they're at. They're in the hotel. So when you go, it's just different. But I do like a home stand. I think it's you get maybe a little bit more rehab in, and do some different things at home. And it'll be nice because we're starting classes up as well, so they can really be here, use the resources here on campus for their classes. But on the flip side, then at some point we may have some road games down the stretch, and if that's next game up, that's next game up.
Quick follow-up, since you mentioned classes, you guys just posted the second highest team GPA in program history. Just what do you attribute that to?
I tell you what, first off, staff did an unbelievable job. Our staff from the Thornton Center that really monitors things academically, keeps our players on track. I'm really proud of their effort, because this is a tough time with COVID and online classes, and how you have to stay up to date and current. The players have to communicate. So really proud of them. Also proud of my staff because I think our players know we emphasize the academic piece. Our players know that's really important. We talk about it. We're there to support our academic staff as much as possible. So I'm really proud about the Thornton Center, our staff, but extremely proud of our team. I am so proud of them. We saw some players be really competitive in the classroom, and they fought hard for some grades, and they were focused during a really tough time. So hats off to them. I'm really pleased. Really pleased.
We'll conclude today with a question from Michelle.
Yeah, Coach, obviously Tara, there was a big celebration when she, became the all-time leader, and Gino could pass Coach Summitt tonight. And I know that can be painful in a lot of ways for Lady Vol fans, but I wonder if they could also look at it from this perspective. And if you do, it's been 9 years, and these records are now just, she's getting past, if you will, but it also puts, I think, in a spotlight once again her impact on the game. Do you sort of see it that way, that it's it is still a celebration of what she accomplished?
I do. I tell you, she set the bar really high, and it's taken coaches a long time to get there, and some really talented coaches, and congratulations to all those. But I think 2 things. One, it just is a reminder how much we miss her being out there, and how much we wish she was still coaching. We all do. And I can't imagine if she were still coaching. Like, what was that number going to be? And, if she were still coaching, if she had that opportunity, she already set the bar so high. How could she put it even higher? But she would have. And I think that's something that I think of a lot. And then also, you know, anybody passing her does not diminish what she did. It does not drag her down. It does not take away anything from her and what she was able to do, because it wasn't about the numbers. It was about her legacy. And it was about who she was as a person and how she uplifted all of us to be better and to give us an opportunity that we have. That's what she was all about. She won a lot of games in the process, but her legacy is so much more than numbers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach, and thank you for everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kellie.